Hello, and thank you for joining the build overview for eSchoolData's release 9.4. Today we're going to go over some of the newly enhanced features included in this release. The first item that we're going to go over is a new event type for the calendar titled Non-Attendance Grade Events. From District Calendar, you will now see that there is a new event type available called Non-Attendance Grade. This event type should be used if you have a single grade or just a couple of grade levels that are not supposed to be in attendance for a particular day, but you still need to have the ability to record attendance for other grade levels that day. You're going to go to the calendar, add the new non-attendance grade event, and then select the grade levels that should not be in attendance for that day. Once that event is added and associated with a grade level, when you view the student's attendance for that day, it will come up as NA for non-attendance since they are not expected to be in session anywhere for that day. Students in other grade levels will still have the ability to record attendance. This new event type will also update the SA 129 with the proper dates that the students are in session. So if a certain grade level has more non-attendance grade events, they will show as having less days that attendance was recorded. The next new feature that we're going to go over is the new capability to record an audio clip for the student's name pronunciation. First, from system administration and group maintenance, you're going to want to make sure that you go in and you enable the permissions for users that should have the ability to either record or play back a student audio clip. You can find these new permissions under the module level permission for registration, and you scroll down to the student information. From there, you'll see the new name pronunciation area where there is a permission for recording, which will allow the user to record a new audio clip or delete an existing audio clip so that they can record a new one, and the playback permission, which will allow the users to see the icon to play the student's audio clip. Please note that any user that does not have this playback permission will not have the ability to listen to the student's audio clip. Once those permissions are enabled, when we go to the student profile, we have added a new search filter where you can search for students that either have an audio clip associated or students that are missing the audio clip. Now, in order to record a new audio clip, you want to go into the student profile and you're going to see this new microphone icon. So when you select the microphone icon, you're going to have the ability to record Alexa Albin. And then you can play back the audio clip as many times as you need. Alexa Albin. If everything sounds okay, then you're going to want to save the record. And then once the audio is saved, you'll see a new icon appear for the playback. Alexa Albin. The audio recording is available right from the student profile as well, but remember that users will need to have that playback permission in order to be able to access the audio clip. Teachers will also have the ability to listen to the audio recording from their Teacher Connect interface. As long as they have the playback permission, they will be able to add a new column for the student name recording. From Teacher Connect, the teachers can go into their settings, and again, if they do have that permission for the playback, then they will see this selection available to add the name pronunciation column. Once that's added, they will see this new playback icon here where they can go ahead and listen to the student's name. If you would like the teachers to be able to work with their students to record an audio clip for their name, just make sure that the teachers also have the recording permission, and then the teachers would be able to do that by going into the student profile from Teacher Connect, going through the same steps of recording a new audio clip. The next new feature that we're going to go over is the introduction of the identified gender field on the student registration page. Again, this is another field that is going to be permission-based. So back to system administration, and under group maintenance, we're going to go into the registration module level permissions. And under student edit, we have the ability to edit the identified gender and also view identified gender. If users have the permission to edit but not view the identified gender, then they're not going to be able to see that drop down. So make sure that anybody who should have access to edit that field also has the permission to view the field. Once those permissions are turned on, you want to make sure that you have that field added to your registration page. So we're going to go to System Registration and Registration Defaults. And from there, you can select the Identified Gender field. Now again, if this is selected and the user does not have permission to view the identified gender, then when they go to the student's registration page, they will not see the Identified Gender dropdown. Once all of that is set up, if we go to Registration Students, and we edit a student record, you're now going to see a drop-down for identified gender. By default, this is going to be populated with the student's gender that is assigned. And then if you need to make an adjustment to that, then you can go to the identified gender drop-down and you have the options of female, male, or X. These are the allowable selections for the state, and this is the field that is going to be sent out in the state extracts. This field is not going to be visible anywhere else except for on the student's registration page and in the state extracts. Any changes made to the student's identified gender will also be reflected in the name, gender, and pronoun history page. As long as the user has permission to see that, then they will be able to see any adjustments that were made to the student. The next new feature that we're going to go over is the new Guru Zap auditing. When users go to the Guru Zaps page, you're going to notice that there are two new columns, one for created and one for modified. The created column is going to reflect the user that initially created the Zap. The modified column, if nobody has made any adjustments to the Zap, will remain blank. If anybody has made any adjustments to it, then this will reflect the person that last modified the Zap. That can be changing a schedule or changing the selections made within the Zap, changing the storage. Anything that requires an edit and save of the Zap will be reflected as the modified by here. In order to view more details about a particular run and the history of who set off that run, we can go into the Zap history. And then you can see the type of run that was created. Any run that is done on a schedule is going to reflect the person that either last modified the record as the person that created this run, or the person that created the Zap initially if it hasn't been modified. Otherwise, if it has been modified, then the last person that edited the Zap will show up as the person that created the scheduled run. If a user just runs the Zap locally, that will also be reflected, and then as well as a general run. And finally, we have some Guru API updates. The Get Students endpoint has been updated with a few different parameters that can be used to pull in additional information. The first addition that we've included is this Include Transfer History. If Include Transfer History is set to true, then it will include all of the details associated with any student transfer record, either between buildings within the district or a student transferring out of the district. The next addition is Include Dual Enrollments. If this is set to true, then it will include the information of any student that is dual enrolled. If you'd like to further filter the list for only students that are dual enrolled or are not dual enrolled, then you have that flexibility here as well with this Is Dual Enrolled filter. And the final addition is the Has Photo parameter, which can be set to true or false. If Has Photo is set to true, then the endpoint will include only the students that have a photo uploaded. If it is set to false, then it will include only the students that have no photo associated with their record. If the photos are included, then you will see that the photo ID is included as well as the last time that the photo was modified. The last update to the Guru API is within the OneRoster endpoints. Now in the user's endpoint, the metadata is going to include information for the student's advisor, the student's counselor, as well as the student's homeroom. No additional changes are needed in order to include this information, so any assignments for the students for these fields will be included in the metadata. And that concludes our highlights for Release 9.4. Please visit the Release Notes tab within the Help site if you would like to find out more information about some of the other items that were released, including some bug fixes and other minor enhancements.